Next up, we have Sharon O'Brien.
Thank you. At its heart, excellent customer service is all about human nature and people interacting and engaging with each other. So the difference between positive and negative customer service experiences comes down to the individual worker and the extent to which they're focused on meeting customer needs or their level of individual customer orientation. Quite often in a service context, service organisations don't have a tangible product as part of their consumer offering. So customers evaluate the service based on their experience with the service worker. So in the eyes of the customer, the service worker becomes the personification of the organisation and the service. And that's the essence of my research. I want to get under the skin of this customer-oriented worker, this customer service superhero, to establish what it is that attracts him to one organisation, one service organisation, above another. Attracting customer-oriented workers is increasingly important for service organisations. These workers influence a number of very important positive outcomes for organisations. They influence financial performance, customer satisfaction, and customer loyalty. So it's really important for organisations to know what it is that will attract these people. But the sector is growing faster than any other sector, so attracting them is more difficult for organisations because competition between organisations for these workers is intensifying. So during my exploratory research, I spoke to 16 diverse service organisations to find out what it is that they look for in customer-facing workers. And I also spoke to customer service champions in the organisations to find out two things: what it is they love about their job and what it is that attracted them to that specific organisation. And the people I spoke to had a wide range of skills. And I found high-skilled customer-oriented workers and low-skilled customer-oriented workers were attracted by different attributes. However, one attribute was common among all of them, and this was role autonomy. So autonomy or empowerment to do their job. So I tested this further then. I had a sample of 120 people, and firstly I measured their individual level of customer orientation using a validated scale. And then using an experimental method with fictional job ads, where autonomy was manipulated as high in one job ad and low in the other, I distributed these randomly to the subjects. And the research came back, the subjects completed these, and the findings showed that high customer-oriented workers were impacted by autonomy as opposed to low customer-oriented workers. So it had an effect on organisational attraction and job pursuit intention for these workers. So that was important because it validated the exploratory findings, and my next phase now is to replicate this study. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Very interesting. How do you think organisations can improve their systems to promote role autonomy for people that work for them?
It's very difficult because there are risks with autonomy, because the more autonomy you give, the more control that you're giving to, say, to a specific person to make decisions. But then balancing that, it comes out for these type of workers, people who enjoy engaging with and are good engaging in customers, they need to have a certain amount of control in I suppose in their armory, that they're able to make a decision without actually going back to refer to a supervisor at all times. And the people I spoke to consultants, very high-skilled consultants. I spoke to people who are maybe working in hotel industry at maybe serving waiting staff. And it was really important that all of these people had a certain amount of autonomy, because without autonomy, they're diminished in the eyes of the customer. So it is a balancing act, and it's difficult, and it comes down to trust and experience as well, I suppose, between the organisation and the customer. But it is something that seems to be very important for this specific cohort of workers. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.